It was a question from, can you please speak? And you can unmute your mic one by one only. Okay, the person who's asking a question can unmute his mic and then he can directly talk to me. The person who's asking the question. Yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Sonia.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yes,
how can
Sonia.
we speak English fluently? I mean, any tip for students?
Well, Sonia, well, let me tell you that Sonia is my online student nowadays. She's taking language coaching from me. She's from Islamabad. As I told you earlier, that she's a brave girl. She is a very brave girl, and I respect her
Thank you
very
so much,
much.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Uh, well, it's not Sonia. There are many other students asking me the same question. Well, as I told you in the beginning of this lecture, that there is a gift for you guys. Okay, and well, I'll send you a link at the end of this session. You can click the link and you can download a free ebook. And the ebook is about how to learn to speak English fluently. Okay. So if I give you an answer over here, it will be a very long answer and this will take a lot of time. So, but let's say for one single tip, if I can give you one single tip, that one single tip is to, if you want to learn to speak English fluently, then your job is to start thinking in English. Start thinking in English. Start thinking in English. If you start thinking in English right from today, you can learn to speak English fluently. You will have no problem whatsoever and never ever. Because why we can't speak English fluently? We can't speak English fluently because we are always thinking about our native language. We are always thinking about grammar. We are always thinking about vocabulary. We are always thinking about everything, but we are not thinking about language. And we start thinking about mistakes. And let me tell you, the only mistake in English language is not to speak. Is not to speak. That is the only mistake. Grammar is not a mistake. Pronunciation is not a mistake. Lack of vocabulary is not a mistake. It's not a problem at all. The only problem with English language is not to speak. Students don't speak. If you don't have anybody to speak English with, don't worry. Speak English to yourself. Talk to yourself. Communicate to yourself. Everywhere, wherever you go, speak English. That's the only way, a quick, short way to learn to speak English fluently. Think in English. Always think in English. Sonia, you're doing your dishes. Okay, Sonia, you're cooking food. You are, for example, taking your kids to school. Okay, you're going to drop them at the school. Whatever activity you're doing, you're going to wash your clothes, for example. You are making coffee. Whatever you're doing, think in English. I'm going to make coffee. Coffee, I want to make it very tasty, delicious. I make coffee every day. Today's coffee is going to be different. Start thinking in your mind in this way. If you can do this, if you can follow this, you can learn to speak English fluently. And this is one of the easiest ways of learning to speak English. The easiest ways. Okay, guys, any other question?
So how can we increase our confidence while speaking English?
One by one.
Like
how can we do what?
Like how can I increase my confidence? Like I hesitate a lot while when I try to like speak English. So how I like improve my confidence?
How can I improve my confidence? I hesitate.
Yep.
You know, hesitation is obviously very common. Everybody hesitates. Everybody has fears. You know, fear is the primary reason why we don't speak English, why we hesitate. And what is the fear in language learning? That fear is making mistakes. You know, there are only, I think, three fears that we are born with. I mean, when we are kids, what happens? A sharp sound frightens us. Any sharp sound frightens us. We have the fear of falling down. We have the fear of shouting. But then we have other fears, for example, fear not being able to do something, or fear not to speak language, or fear, for example, or having lack of confidence. All these things we learn from our society, from our parents, from everywhere we are born. You can never build a confidence until you do what you want to do, okay, that fears you. That's the only way you can build your confidence. I mean, you're going through a graveyard, for example, for the first time in your life at about 12 o'clock at night. You are afraid, you're frightened. But if you are doing this every day, maybe beyond the graveyard, there is a factory area and you are always working there, and you finish your job about 1 o'clock and you have to walk through the graveyard. And there are people who do that. They walk through the graveyard at 11 o'clock, at 1 o'clock, at 2 o'clock at night, and they are never afraid. But there are some people who obviously become afraid. Why? Because they have been doing it. They have been doing it because something that you are afraid of, if you do this, you become confident. But because we are afraid of making mistakes, because we are afraid that somebody would be laughing at me, because we think that uh, maybe, for example, if I make mistakes, what the other people would say, that's why we lose confidence. In language, people do make mistakes. Making mistakes is natural. People can make mistakes. So, whatever you want to do, in order to build confidence, you need to start acting, start the action. Okay? And even acting, take yourself as a very good speaker of English. And if you can't find somebody, speak to yourself, talk to yourself. But normally we don't do that. We just think about the fear, we think about we don't have confidence. How can you improve the confidence? I mean, I don't have the confidence to swim in the river because I don't know how to swim. Okay. And if I keep on thinking about it throughout my life, I will never be a swimmer. But if I jump into the water and if I start, plowing with my hands, then I will develop the confidence. Yes, I can do it. And once I have this feeling, then obviously I will develop confidence. And if I don't jump into the river, and if I'm at the bank of the river thinking that the water is cold, thinking that maybe I drown in the water, or thinking, for example, there's nobody to help me, then obviously you can't build the confidence. You have the coach behind you, okay, because you have come to learn to swim. You have a coach behind you and you jump, or maybe the coach pushes you into the water. And once you start working with your hands and your legs, you start developing the confidence. Without doing, there's no confidence. Without doing, confidence is not in vacuum. It doesn't come automatically. रात को सोए सुबह उठे कॉन्फिडेंट हो गए, ऐसा नहीं होता. जो भी जिससे हमें डर लगता है हमें उसको करना है, वो करते हैं तो हमारे अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस पैदा होता है. अगर हम उसको नहीं करते तो हमारे अंदर सारी जिंदगी कॉन्फिडेंस पैदा नहीं होता. जिससे भी हम डरते हैं, कोई भी चीज हो सकती है. आइट से हम डरते हैं तो खुद ब खुद आइस का कॉन्फिडेंस पैदा हो जाएगा? नहीं. जिससे हम डरते हैं उसको हमें बार बार करना है तो हमारे अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस पैदा होता है, वरना नहीं होता. इसके अलावा दुनिया में कोई तरीके का नहीं. मतलब आप गूगल पे जाएं दी हाउ टू डेवलप कॉन्फिडेंस, वो कहेंगे ये करो ये करो ये करो ये करो ये करो, सब कुछ करो या उनमें से कुछ भी ना करो, लेकिन एक काम जरूर करो कि जिससे डरते हो उसको करो. जब आप उसको करोगे तो कॉन्फिडेंस मिल जाएगा. इसके अलावा और कोई, मेरे ख्याल मैं नहीं जानता, शायद कोई और तरीका हो. Any other student, if you have any questions?
Yes, sir. What about pronunciation? As most of the time we are unable to speak the word correctly as it should be pronounced.
Yes, I mean, in order to learn pronunciation, listening is very important. Are you Ikra speaking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ikra, in order to learn pronunciation, listening is very important. Listening is the foundation of language, is the foundation of every language in the world is learned by listening. There is no language in the world you can learn without listening. As a child, you listened to your mother, you listened to the people around you, and you picked up the sounds, picked up the sounds. And when you picked up the sounds, you started speaking the sounds exactly as they spoke, and your pronunciation improved. Obviously, there are phonetics, there is phonology. You can learn phonetics, you can learn phonology, you can read books on pronunciation and everything. But that's actually a long journey. If you want to quick improve your pronunciation, you should start listening to the English people, the Britishers, the Americans, whoever you want to follow, and then start focusing on the words they speak differently from the way you speak. Maybe, for example, you speak the word uh, schedule, for example. You speak the word schedule. But if you're listening to the British people or Americans, Americans would be pronouncing it as schedule, and British people will be pronouncing it as schedule, schedule, not schedule. There is a difference. Maybe you pronounce a word Wednesday, but when you listen to the recording, the speaker says Wednesday, and you can pick it up. Pick it up, put it in your mind, put it in your mind, and whenever you need, start speaking it. And Ikra, I know this is hard work. Everybody who improved his pronunciation, obviously, they did a lot of hard work. They put a lot of hard work. You need to listen to recordings. I mean, this would be the easiest way to learn to improve your pronunciation. Otherwise, you can learn phonetics, you can learn phonology, you can read books on pronunciation, but that's a very long way to go. That's a good way. I'm not saying that's a bad way. That's a good way, but that's a very long way to go. But if you want to do it quickly, then listening, because you're an art student, what you can do listening, do your test, start listening, do your test, and for example, out of 40 you got 30, 35 right, and afterwards listen to the recording once again with the script in front of your eyes.
Okay.
Okay, look at the script and try to see how the British people are speaking it, how the Americans are speaking, how the natives are speaking. For example, uh, you know Ali and Maria and Ali, Maria and Ali. I mean, the natives are speaking it as Maria and Ali. So they can join the sounds. Maria and Ali. He is manager in a hotel. He is manager in a hotel. Joined all the sounds. He is a manager in a hotel. He is manager in a hotel. So we can understand how they are pronouncing by listening to them and by reading the script in front of our eyes, and obviously by practicing over and over with people around you. Obviously you can learn to improve your pronunciation.
Okay. Thank you,
That's
sir.
the way. Any other question, guys?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Sonia, sir.
Sonia, yes. Sonia, you changed your
Yes, sir.
voice.
Okay, maybe. So you said to me, Sonia, you speak English with yourself. You have so many daily routines work, right?
Exactly.
If I speak English, if I speak English with myself, how did I know that I'm speaking correct words or wrong?
Okay, now that's actually the point. There are three different levels of speaking English. The first thing is we should try to learn to speak English fluently. And when we are learning to speak English fluently, when we are at this stage, we shouldn't worry about mistakes. First, we need to start speaking English fluently. That is the first stage. When you are at this stage, start practicing, start working, start speaking English fluently, but never worry about mistakes. Even if you're speaking incorrect English, it doesn't matter. No problem at all. Then the next stage is speaking English correctly. Okay. Once you can speak English fluently, you have confidence, and now you need to work on your grammar. You need to work on your correct speech. For example, when you're practicing, you can have one day for fluency, the other day for speaking English correctly. Okay, today is Monday. I'll speak English fluently. If I'm speaking English to myself, I'm speaking English to other people, I will be speaking English fluently. I will not worry about grammar in any way. If I make a mistake, it doesn't matter. The next day, for example, you can start speaking English correctly. This day, today, I may not speak English fluently, but I will speak English correctly. And then the last stage is speaking English effectively. Speaking English effectively so that you can get the result you want. Okay? Because you are communicating to the people and the people are understanding you. People are paying attention to you. So that is the third stage. Sonia, you are at the early stage. So you can start working on your fluency only. And if you make any mistakes, it doesn't matter. If you start focusing on the mistakes, then you will start focusing on the mistakes. You will not be able to speak English. That is a problem. We are supposed to speak English fluently. Okay? And don't worry about grammar. Don't worry about mistakes. We will work on the mistakes. We can work on grammar later. You can learn grammar, I mean, along with everything else, but when you are speaking English, you are not focusing grammar. Because speaking is not where you focus on grammar. Speaking is where you focus on your communication, on what you want to say, on what you want to tell the other person. This is what speaking is about. Speaking is not about thinking about your mistakes. Speaking is about communicating to the other person. So that's why when we are speaking, we should focus on communication, not grammar. Fine, Sonia?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any other questions, guys?
Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sir,
Okay.
whenever I speak English, I got confused. I don't know what to say. But when I was alone, I was like, "Oh yes, you can do it." But in front of anybody, I got hesitation and something like.
Fear, 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 fear. That is the point. Fear. We are afraid of making mistakes. We are afraid what will the people say? लोग क्या कहेंगे? मैं जिससे बात कर रहा हूँ, मैंने इससे गलत अंग्रेजी बोल दी, तो ये क्या सोचेगा मेरे बारे में? बस ये चीज, ठीक है? दो ही बातें हैं, या फियर, लैक ऑफ प्रैक्टिस है, ठीक है? अच्छा, जो मैंने आपको ये बताया ना कि थिंक इन इंग्लिश, इसमें तो हमें किसी आदमी से बात नहीं करने की जरूरत है, किसी से बात करने की जरूरत नहीं, हमने तो अपने आप से बातें करनी है ना। जब हम अपने आप से बातें करते हैं तो हम तो अपने आप को कुछ नहीं कहेंगे ना, दूसरा बंदा, दूसरे से डर होगा ना हमें। मैं अपने आप से बातें करता हूँ तो फिर मैं सही बोल लेता हूँ, लेकिन जैसे ही मैं किसी और से बातें करता हूँ तो फिर मेरे लिए मुश्किल होती है। क्यों जी, ऐसे ही है कि किसी और से बातें
Yes,
करूँ
sir.
तो फिर मेरे लिए। तो जब आप
Yes,
अपने आप
sir.
से बातें करें ना, तो इसको इतनी ज्यादा बातें करें अपने आप से, इतनी ज्यादा बातें करें अपने आप से कि आपका दिमाग जो है वो लैंग्वेज के साथ फुल हो जाए, भर जाए आपका दिमाग आपकी लैंग्वेज के साथ। बच्चा जो है वो 2 से 2.5 साल तक अपने वालिदैन की, अपने इर्द गिर्द पेरेंट्स की सुनता रहता है, सुनता रहता है, सुनता रहता है, बोलता नहीं है, वो सुनता है, सुनता रहता है, सुन के अपने जहन में बिठाता रहता है, जहन में अपने आप से प्रैक्टिस करता रहता है, अपने आप से उर्दू, पंजाबी, इंग्लिश, फ्रेंच, जर्मन, जिस एनवायरनमेंट में हो वो अपने आप से बोलता रहता है। ये साइंस कंफर्म करती है हमें, ठीक है? लेटेस्ट जितनी भी रिसर्च है ये 100% कंफर्म करती है कि बच्चा जो है वो सुनता है, अपने आप से बातें करता है, अपने आप से बातें करता रहता है। जब उसका ब्रेन जो है वो लैंग्वेज से फुल हो जाता है, तो उसके बाद आपको पता है ना, उसी बच्चे को रोकना मुश्किल हो जाता है, वो चुप ही नहीं करता, बोलता रहता है, बोलता रहता है, सारा दिन बोलता रहता है। तो ये बच्चों वाली बात नहीं है, ये 100% आपके ऊपर अप्लाई होती है। अगर आप अपने आप से बात करते हैं तो आपका ब्रेन जो है वो बात करने का इतना आदी हो जाएगा कि उसका मुश्किल पेश नहीं आएगी जब वो किसी और आदमी के सामने बात करेगा। फियर, डर लगता है हमें, हम डरते हैं, यार ये क्या कहेगा, अगर मैंने गलती कर दी तो ये क्या कहेगा। ये मिसाल के तौर पे मैंने एम इंग्लिश किया है, तो अगर कोई अगला आदमी ये कह दे कि यार तूने एम इंग्लिश किया तो तुम्हें इस बात का नहीं पता, तुम ये भी गलत बोल रहे हो, तुम्हें वो भी नहीं पता। जैसे आपको मैंने पहले बताया कि अगर डर को खत्म करना है या कॉन्फिडेंस को बिल्ड करना है तो उसका एक ही तरीका है, वो ये है कि हमें उसको करके करना है, करके अलावा और कोई तरीका नहीं है। मुझे जिससे डर लगता है मुझे वो काम करना है।
सर
जिस चीज में मेरे अंदर कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है मुझे उसको करना है ताकि जी बताएं.
sorry for interruption. So
No, no,
I
no.
want to say, accent is important. If you are pronouncing a word correctly, so we should pronounce like foreigners. Is it important?
पता क्या ना इट्स इम्पोर्टेंट. पता है हमें दो चीजों का नहीं पता. एक्सेंट जो है वो इज different person to person. Everybody has his own accent. Americans have their accents, British people have their accents, the Australians have their own accents. What we are supposed to do, that's why you are doing IELTS. IELTS is what? International English Language Testing System. It's international English. International English, not British English, not American English, international English. Because you can only learn international English now. In international English, you're supposed to work on your pronunciation only. For example, there is a sound called P, K, P, K, D, S, Sh. I mean, this is not part of accent. P, P is not accent. P is actually pronunciation. It is pronunciation. और हमें इसको लर्न करना होता है. ये एक्सेंट नहीं है, ये प्रोनाउंसिएशन है. अगर ऐसा नहीं बोलेंगे तो गलत होगा.
Yeah, what I want to say, like we are pronouncing the word correctly as you are saying the sounds. We are pronouncing the sounds are correctly. So accent should be normal.
नहीं, accent नहीं
So
matter. Okay, no problem. I mean, accent that's why in IELTS exam, accent doesn't count. Accent is not important in IELTS exam. Only pronunciation is important. In international English, only pronunciation is important. Accent is not important because accent is personal. Everybody has their own accent. People have different accents. So this is personal. Yes, students? Any other question? Sonia, how is your experience with language coaching? Can you please tell the other students what your experience is?
Sir, as you know, okay, sir. First of all, I am a housewife, right? And I'm not good in English before that classes. When I joined Sir Naeem before 2 weeks, I feel that uh, I feel that uh, sir, I feel that I build up confidence. First of all, I never speak with everyone in English. I afraid because I feel that if I speak English with anyone, maybe I done mistakes. I improve my confidence in this class, and after that, I feel that this is like a family. I read in a family classroom. So that is a, I think, big surprise for me. Sir, are you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I mean, it has been very helpful for you.
Yes, sir. It's very helpful for me. Sometimes I confuse when I speak English in front of you, sir. You know about that. I just I think this is first time I
Exactly.
taking online classes.
Very good, Sonia. Actually, Sonia is one of the students who has really impressed me. So, because she's a very hardworking girl, she's a very hardworking girl, and she's very different from the other women. I mean, most of the women, they like to watch TV, spend a lot of free time at home, do nothing. But she is working on herself to improve herself. She is working a lot. I mean, she did law at home, online classes. She took online classes and she completed her law. And now she's thinking about doing practice. She's become a lawyer. Now she wants to improve her language skills. It's so, I mean, the time is crazy. We are supposed to improve ourselves. And communication is the first thing. We should improve our communication. If we cannot communicate with other people, then we cannot survive in this society. We cannot, for example, close your mouth and sit in a corner. You need to communicate to people. If you are a student, you are a teacher, you are, for example, a colleague, or maybe you are a businessman, or maybe even you are a housewife, because you have to communicate with your kids. The kids, for example, Let me tell the other students, if Sonia allows me. I mean, Sonia's daughter speaks English better than Sonia herself. Imagine. Okay. Sonia, am I right?
Yes, sir, you're absolutely right.
Her daughter speaks English better than her. And obviously, if she doesn't improve herself, how can
And
she
she's nine
guide
years
her
old.
kid? And she's 9 years old. How can she guide? How can she guide her? She's the mother. She's supposed to upgrade herself. Only then she can teach her, tell her, guide her. Okay? Normally, one of the reasons why kids don't listen to their parents, because their parents are far lower than their level. They think, for example, why should I listen to my father? He doesn't know what I know. Why should I listen to my mother? She doesn't know what I know. Okay. And you will listen to your teachers, for example, because you believe that the teacher knows more than you. That's why you listen to your teacher, but he doesn't listen to your father. He doesn't listen to your mother. Okay. It's expert, okay, expert syndrome, you can say. Something. I mean, you listen to somebody who's an expert, who knows better than you, who knows more than you. But normally, our parents, because they are not at our level, so this is the reason normally most of the children don't listen to their parents. I'm not saying they should not. I'm saying they don't do this. It's a fact of life. Okay, students. So maybe
So
in
I have a
future
lack
we're
of
going to have.
confidence. That's why.
Yes, that's one of the reasons exactly. So class, we are going towards the end of this lecture today. So maybe we'll have more sessions like this in future, and certainly I will invite you. If you have any problem regarding English language or language coaching, obviously you can always WhatsApp me, you can text me, you can reach me. So I'll send you a link in this group, and you can click the link and you can download a book. Learn to speak. There are 5 ways to learn to speak English fluently. It's a very simple book, free book you can download. 5 steps or 5 methods, only 5 rules or only 5 principles to learn to speak English fluently. Very simple book. Okay, maybe 10 to 15 pages, but it's a very important ebook. This contains my whole philosophy of language learning. If people learn English, they learn English because of the philosophy that I have given in my book. It's an ebook. Okay, you can download it free from the link I'm going to send you. Okay, class, have a very good time.
Sir,
And
do you give lectures every weekend?